Hello, everybody. Big up yourself. Walk on, my beautiful loves. It's your girl, Mambo Mari. So for those who are returning, hey, y'all. For those who are new, welcome to book a reading, personal reading with me. My number is listed in the description box below. And my website is posted in my bio. So, what is blocking your connection with your person? What is it that's blocking you from having one or being together? So let's get to the bottom of it, my loves. This one wanted to come out. Angels, guides, and spirits for my familia in regards to what is blocking their connection. Okay. Okay. So we have settling. Don't stay with someone who isn't right for you just because it's safe. So what's blocking this connection, more or less, is, or what's blocking you in love in general as well, is some of you are settling, okay? Some of you are settling for an individual that you feel safe with, and it's only because they're either allowing you to do certain things, get away with certain things, or they're not someone that you can, how do I say it? There's someone basically in matters you have more control over your own freedom or financial, or, you know, it's easy. It's an easy fix. Clarify more with this settling. Yeah, we have the Tower. Some of you are afraid of major eruptions, okay? You're afraid of explosions. You're afraid of facing reality into your own dynamic. So what's settling here, okay, and what's blocking this connection, you're afraid of change. You're afraid of something that's different from what you're used to. And with this energy, Spirit is showing me with the Tower here, keep this in mind. Tower moments are meant to shake up shit in our life, so that way, you know, Spirit can come and take over. And when this happens, my loves, this brings uphealed change. And with Five of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands energy, it's like you're having more of control here. This is codependency. So your person could be financially well off, or you're able to have more financial freedom. You're able to kind of give the bare minimum. You know, you're allowed to be in this control with the Queen of Wands. You're allowed to have the upper hand here. What else is blocking your connection is we have rejection. Build your confidence by dating a lot and find out what people like about you. So, ooh, this is really big. So for rejection, some of you are afraid of it. Some of you have to understand that not everybody is going to be up to your par. Not, you know, it's okay for somebody to not like you. It's okay for somebody to not be interested. You have to understand everybody has a different lifestyle that might not be a part of yours. And you have to understand people come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different dynamics, different family ways, different, you know, and sometimes people always want to change people, and you cannot do that. And it's okay for somebody to kind of reject you because maybe you're not up to par with their lifestyle. Or what's blocking your connection with you and your person, or just in general in love, is you're afraid of rejection. So This makes it more difficult for you to be expressive when it comes to your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Tell me more. Yeah, we have 9 of Swords and we have the 7 of Coins. What did I say? Anxiety. Some of you suffer from heavy panic or anxiety disorder, which is okay. Some of you, you know, again, this can stimulate from being a child. Maybe you had a rough upbringing where you were always rejected as a child. So that can come into play here in this partnership. You know, maybe you didn't have a good upbringing with your mama or your pop, or, you know, you grew up with either without one of them, or when it came down to asking them to validate your feelings, they rejected you. Now, most old school folks, especially like for me in the Caribbean, you know, Caribbean parents are not for the weak, mom. I think old school, no matter which culture you come from, are just in general, old school folks are always, they were batshit crazy. I don't care what anybody says, you know, and sometimes they just were like, they would reject you if you're crying. You're like, well, I'll give you something to cry about, you know, and they'll brush off your feelings when in reality you could have just fell, you know, and got really hurt, you know, and you needed that validation that everything is going to be okay, that your pain is, you know, going to turn into love, you know. So some of you are, you know, kind of dwelling on that as well. Okay. And this is understandable. You know, some of you are afraid to invest with 7 of Pentacles because you're afraid it's not going to grow or glow. And you have to understand, you know, seeking validation, yes, is important, but you also have to maintain that boundary as well, because not everybody is built the same way. Fated to be alone. You gave up on love because you think you are meant to be alone. It's not true. Ooh, this is deep. And I definitely can relate to this one. What's blocking you is feeling like you should be alone. We were not meant to be alone in this world, my humans. Okay? We are meant for our divine counterpart, whenever and whoever that might be, when our time is ready. And finding our divine counterpart doesn't mean that you're going to go out and look for it. No. See, I get people all the time that tell me, my lovelies, you know, they're on dating sites. And it's no disrespect, because in case you can't go out and meet people, you know, what else are you going to do? But let me tell you something. Dating sites are for married or unmarried people that are looking for casual hookups. I don't care what anybody said. It's very rare for you to find somebody off a dating site that's going to be an actual factual person that's going to be met for a long time. There's only like 20%, okay, of those who can actually come about and sit here and say that they met their match and they've been happily after with somebody from a dating site. Yeah, bullshit. It's basically going to a fucking deli, standing in front of, you know, a line waiting for some, you know, cheese or some salami or some ham. Okay, you pick a number, you get your order, and you move it to go. It's gone within a week. That's what a dating site is, in my opinion. Okay. You could drop in the comments in below if you feel otherwise, but I'm gonna tell you something. I've seen a lot of shit, and I have to be honest, that's what those are all about. But back to this. Fated to be alone. You know, listen, sometimes it's okay to be alone, because realistically, you know, you could have endeavored a really rough patch with past partners, relationships, and, you know, it's difficult to want to give in and have that trust with somebody else. So Spirit is saying what's blocking your love life or blocking this connection with you is thinking that this is meant for you long term, and it's not. Clarify more about this. Yeah, Page of Coins. It's like you guys aren't willing to put in any offers or accept them. Right now, what's blocking your love life or blocking your connection is not putting in the work or effort. Feeling like, you know what, I'm better off to be alone. And you know something? This could be temporary, but you have to understand that gives signals to the universe, okay, that you're not acceptant of love. And when you're not acceptant of love, even if it's not necessarily within a commitment or a person, you know, that can be with anybody, a friendship, a relationship with your child. That's sending signals to the universe that you're not incoherent with finding a love connection. And we have Six of Coins, equal give and take. So this makes sense. Some of you feel to be alone because it's easier to give to yourself. For some of you, you know, what's blocking you in love is, and this is really big, some of you could have gave a lot of energy into a love connection previously or within your own connection as of right now. And when you give, and all this person does or individuals do is take, and they don't give back the same way you give back, yes, you get burnt the fuck out. You really do. And that right there can do damage of wanting to be alone because you're like, you know, what the fuck? I spent all this money, I spent all this time, I spent all this energy and got nothing in return. And for some of you, it could have dried out your pockets so heavily that financially it puts you in a rut of some sort. And now you're like, well, what the fuck? Like, what do I do now moving forward? Spirit is saying, don't think like that. Okay? Don't ever be, what's that term called? Like a penny pincher, Indian giver. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but if I don't mean to say it like that. Like you know, that's like an expression where, you know, you're only using barter and trade. And that's not how it comes to when it comes to love. When you really love somebody or you as a person are loved in a loving situation, there is no expectation in return. And it's okay, you know, to feel that way, like this person should be giving more. We know that. But you don't have to stop being who you are. If you're a loving, giving person, no matter what it is, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, you don't need to stop doing those things or being that way or being that person because of somebody else. And think that you deserve to be alone. You do not. There is somebody out there that is going to reciprocate the same way you will. For some of you, for those who are already in a connection when it comes to love, your person could feel this way, that you're a loner. You rather just do things by yourself. So for some of you who are very independent, you know, you might be like afraid to ask for help or afraid to ask for something, and this person's willing to give it to you or offer it to you, but you reject them or you shut them down. So this could be blocking your current relationship right now. We have love's the answer. Love won't solve your problems. You need to work on being independent. Okay, so for various of you, some of you are a little too codependent. Okay, so we have the other, some individuals that are clearly want to be alone, and then we have the codependents here that depend upon love in order to survive. And that is not love, my humans, at all. So for some of you, you feel that you need to be in some sort of committal relationship or connection because it validates you as a whole, or it makes you feel that, you know, you're superb in that way, or you're able to function. You know, you're afraid to sleep alone or wake up alone or eat alone or, you know, pay bills on your own. Some of you could be a little spoiled in that way, but some of you are to the point where it's affecting you, affecting your daily life. And that is not love. That is a gatekeep, and that is a gateway. It's like a gateway drug if you think about it in some ways, because you're addicted to the aspect of what you may feel is love. Clarify more. Yeah, we have Seven of Wands. Some of you in reverse, some of you don't know how to draw boundaries. You're a little too much, too clingy, too needy. Like, it's okay for you not to text your person on a regular or call them every day or blow up their phone, or, you know, like, it's like they're like, some people are not clingy, affectionate people. And that doesn't mean that person doesn't love you or that person's not acceptant of you. Some people always constantly need, like, to be told a million times a day that I love you, or, you know, some sort of, you know, you look beautiful, or, you know, and it's strange because it's like, sometimes it's a little too much, and that's not love. That's like an infatuation, obsession, impulsive. And that's not love at all. And with the Page of Wands, it's like a child needing that validation, that aggression. This can also play in intimacy as well. Thinking that, you know, that's the answer to love, and it's not. And I feel a lot of you get this when what's blocking your connection when it comes to love is you might not have had a good upbringing as well. So this, again, can stimulate from childhood, family dynamics that, you know, maybe you were raised this way. You know, some people's family dynamics can come from expectations, and you don't really have that solid, you know, role model to look up to understand how the physics of life work, you know, doing for yourself and things of that nature. And, you know, this could lead to a miserable household, only functioning through codependency, the needing, the fulfilling, the wants, the, you know, desires, uncontrollable desires. And then when it breaks off, you know, this leads to depression, anxiety, all types of, you know, severe issues mentally that make it very and how do I say it? Make it very inseparable for you and this individual to be able to function on your own. Interesting. So now we have confusion and what's blocking your love life or your connection. You don't know what you want, so you need clarity before you get involved. Some of you are a little wishy-washy. Definitely my air signs, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, just kidding. But some of you can come, you know, very heavy with mixed emotions. Okay, it could stimulate from energetic pools in your surroundings where you might want to spiritually cleanse yourself. Okay. 2, it could lead to mental brain fog when you're not getting enough sleep, enough rest, you're not eating properly or healthy. Spirit is also showing me that, you know, I'm seeing a lot of you can suffer from headaches and migraines very heavily. So, you know, this could be some sort of health related issue. You know, could be like testosterone levels, hormone levels, estrogen, you know, that can play a role too. For some of you, that's just for a few of you. But some of you are also overworked. So you're focused right now. The last thing is love, and it's totally understandable. But it's like some of you, you're confused. You're allowing your mixed emotions to kind of settle in and not allow yourself to kind of just go with the flow. Okay, tell me more about this and what's blocking them. Yeah, we have Nine of Cups in reverse, dissatisfaction. So some of you are never happy. And I'm sorry to say that, but some of you, what's blocking your love life or blocking your connection can be, this can also be cloudy judgment due to substance abuse. Any smoking, drinking, listen, we don't discriminate. This can also represent, like I just said, not getting the proper nutrition that you need in your body. Start taking vitamins. Okay, so spiritually cleanse yourself in your household as well, because that can make a role in, you know, kind of being paranoid. Like, is this person out to get me? Is this person, you know, really honest about what they're saying to me? You know, it leads to a lot of brain fog, you know, when these things happen. If here's a for instance, like when I suffer from sickle cell anemia. So, you know, when my count is low, I can't see straight. I'm not even joking. You know, it's pretty bad, but you know, that's just one thing on a personal level that, you know, something I go through as, you know, to tell you guys and your personal aspect of it. You know, sometimes when your health is off balance, that can play a role in your emotions and how you look at individuals as well. So paranoia could be, you know, again, some of you are blocked in this aspect because also your third eye could be blocked in your crown chakra as to why you're not seeing things clearly. And we have Knight of Coins. So some of you know that, you know, your confusion is coming from stability. Like, you know, you want what you want, but you're not allowing that to happen. You're kind of allowing yourself to stay stuck in your own depression, anxiety, warmth around your head with the Eight of Swords here. You're allowing yourself to be cluttered instead of just, like I said, going with the flow. So now the overall energy and what's blocking your connection is we have indecision. Okay, you are afraid to make a mistake, so you won't commit either way. Yes, indecisiveness, not knowing which way to turn. So that's what's blocking you. Expectations, when you expect too much, no one measures up, ditch your list, want what's real, and we have eye candy. Beauty fades, choose someone for their inner beauty and personality. And this is really big as well. So some of you can kind of play this role where what's blocking you in love is you're expecting someone to be a little high strung, or maybe you're expecting someone who isn't high strung, okay, more out of that person. So let me give an example. Let's say you come from, you know, you don't come from the best background, let's say low income, you know, middle class, and, you know, you're expecting somebody, okay, from, you know, a lower class, you know, doesn't take care of their appearance to be this white collar, you know, Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, let's be real. Like, that's not going to happen. Okay. So you have to understand that some of you are expecting more out of individuals that are never going to be up to that par or match. You have to seek elsewhere. And don't lower your standards as well by doing so. Spirit is saying, that's why always set your standards high. And for those of you who do set their standards high, let's say you do get a white collar, Wolf of Wall Street, sharp as a whistle. And guess what? They're a complete asshole or a complete itch. Okay? And now you got, somebody who, yeah, they might financially be well off, but they have the most shittiest fucking personality. You can't even have a conversation with them. You can't even make a joke with them. You can't cuddle with them. You can't even be intimate with them. This person is so fucking bitter. So Spirit is saying, what's that saying? Your eyes are bigger than your stomach. Yes, big time. So that's what I got for you, my loves. Love y'all.